Bluecamus Prime here, so it is Halloween, so happy Halloween to all of you guys who are celebrating it. So I thought I would do a special horror related video today in which I do a franchise ranking of a horror trilogy. And this is for a horror trilogy by a singer who also as well works as a film director and also in some cases an actor as well. And that, of course, is for none other than the Firefly Trilogy, which is, of course, directed by Rob Zombie. This, of course, is a black comedy horror franchise, and of course, there's 3 films in this, which I'm going to be ranking from best to worst, in my personal opinion. So, if you guys don't agree with me, that's absolutely fine, but please respect my opinion just like I would respect yours. So, let's begin, shall we? So, kicking off in first place for me, guys, is going to be what is, in my opinion, Rob Zombie's best movie he's done ever, as far as I'm concerned, and what I've seen, which of course is none other than 2005's The Devil's Rejects. This, to me, is easily Rob Zombie's best movie. To me, it's the only masterpiece I've seen from him out of the films I've seen by him, and I think it's definitely a really great horror sequel, definitely in my opinion, in how you do one. I think it's an improvement over its predecessor, and it has many great characters as in the film too as well, and many elements, of course, which show it for being horror, because it's kind of like show it's like a slasher movie in a way, of course, and I think it's brilliant and definitely a lot of fun. And it also has some elements of comedy as well, so I wouldn't say it's 100% a horror film. I'd say it's also got comedic elements as well, but this film, though, in my opinion, has a bit more horror than the first film did, which I did appreciate, which is why I think it's better. And it has a pretty good cast of actors, so my personal favourite character in this film is most definitely Captain Spaulding, played by the legendary Sid Haig, may he rest in peace. Captain Spaulding is very entertaining and definitely, in my opinion, my favourite part of the whole trilogy. My favourite character in the franchise, just a very entertaining character, and definitely one of my favourite horror villains of all time as well. And I did also as well love the casting as well of Bill Moseley as Otis Driftwood as well. I thought he was also great too as well. And there's also many other great actors in this film as well. Oh, for example, you've got Ken Foree, of course, as Charlie Altamont, and also the legendary Danny Trejo as Rondo, among many other great actors in this as well. And the film has lots of really good horror moments as well, and lots of you know, pretty scary moments too as well, which makes me further consider it to be a horror film than its predecessor. Although it does have its fair share of some humorous moments, or don't get me wrong, I still like how it went for more of a horror feel than the last film did. And to top it all off, I think it also has a phenomenal ending because at the end of the film, of course, the 3 members of the family, of course, are driving down the road, but of course, they notice a police barricade ahead of them. They realise they're not going to make it out alive, and then they speed towards the barricade with guns blazing as the police return fire on them, and the screen fades to black. So I can happily accept that they didn't make it, because there is no way they'd ever survive that showdown whatsoever. As far as I'm concerned, The Devil's Rejects is the end of the Firefly franchise, and if you want to see my in-depth thoughts on why I did not need a sequel, then go check out my video on movie didn't need a sequel on this film. However, when it comes to my bad qualities with this film, my main bad quality with this film, which applies to all of Rob Zombie's films, almost all of them, because even though I do like this film, my biggest bad quality with it is probably the casting of Rob Zombie's wife, Sherry Moon Zombie, as the character Vera Ellen, nicknamed Baby Firefly, because, in my opinion, guys, she can't act. And it just really annoys me seeing her in Rob Zombie's films, because he's cast in pretty much every single film he's directed. And I get, you know, that he loves her and he wants her to be in his films. I get that. But she has no experience as an actress, so why cast her? That's just ridiculous. So all I can say is that he should have casted a much more experienced actress as the character instead, really. Maybe had his wife help him produce the film or something instead. Not starring it as a character who's really bland and just can't act, in my opinion. So, as much as I love The Devil's Rejects, of course, David Firefly is my bad quarter because, in my opinion, Sherry Moon Zombie can't act. That's what I'll say. But, other than that, if I was to give a film a score out of 10, so I'd regard it, of course, as Rob Zombie's best film, and I'd probably give it a very solid score of 8 out of 10. So that's my opinion with Devil's Rejects. My second favourite would of course be this film's predecessor, which of course is 2003's House of 1000 Corpses. So when it comes to what I think about this film, so I personally think this film is okay at best, really. Like, I don't think it's great that much, really. I just think it's okay at best, really. I mean, what's good about it, of course, is Sid Haig, rest in peace, and Bill Moseley are great in the film, and there's other good actors in this too as well. Like, for example, Rainn Wilson, Chris Hardwick, and Walton Goggins, among others too as well. And I guess the horror is also decent in this film as well too, I must say. I did like that, of course, and I also, as well, I thought Rob Zombie's musical score in the film was also good too as well, because he, of course, has experience as a singer, so his songs in this were good in my opinion, but I kind of feel that in some cases they were edited badly into it and came out of nowhere, in my opinion, and it didn't really execute the scenes properly, though, in my opinion, but his songs, what they were good, but personally, I do prefer Tyler Bates' score in Devil's Rejects more, though, which is why I do love that film a lot more than this. And so I think the film is just okay, really. But my bad qualities of it is, aside from, of course, the casting of Sherry Moon in this, because in my opinion she can't act, I also feel that this film went a little bit too cartoonic and silly when it comes to the character designs and the costumes, because it kind of felt a bit too cartoonic in my opinion, and not too serious like a horror film should be. Which is why I think the sequel is more of a horror film than this is, because I feel this film tries to go for more of a comedic element than a horror element in my opinion, really. And it just feels a bit out of place, really, in my opinion, which is why I think The Devil's Rejects is a way better example of a horror film than this, to be completely honest. And I've also said that I don't feel that sometimes the music was badly edited into it. It came out of nowhere, in my opinion, and didn't really work properly for me, if I'm to be completely honest. But other than that, though, I think House of 1000 Corpses is decent. It's okay, in my opinion. It's not terrible by any means. I just think it's okay, really, and if you guys want to watch Devil's Rejects, then it's important that you watch this first, because it's a prequel to it, of course. So, if I was to give it a score out of 10, guys, I'd probably give it a very decent score of 6 out of 10. That's what I'd give it. And when I thought, of course, it would be over Devil's Rejects, that was unfortunately not it, because we got a sequel 14 years later. Yeah, 14. And I've already ranted about this in my video, movie didn't need a sequel for Devil's Rejects, but here we go again. So, in last place for me is what is, in my opinion, the absolute worst of this trilogy, which is, of course, none other than 2019's Free From Hell. And as far as I'm concerned, this film can go to hell, because I think it absolutely sucks. So, this film, in my opinion, is absolute trash, and is definitely, in my opinion, one of the worst horror sequels I've ever had the misfortune of seeing in my life, ever. Like, this film was terrible, in my opinion. But, it's also thinking of redeeming qualities, so even though he's only in, like, one scene, Sid Haig, may rest in peace, gave a great performance as Captain Spaulding, and there is, of course, an understandable reason why he's only in one scene in the film, guys, and that's because when the film was made, Sid Haig was unfortunately ill, so that was really sad. He'd lost lots of weight, as I noticed when seeing the film, and he also looked really tired as well, but even though he was ill and was really tired, I still think he gave a phenomenal performance as always. I would not cast any actor other than him for Captain Spaulding as far as I'm concerned. I think Sid Haig totally embodied who Spaulding is as a character. I do feel really sad, of course, that, you know, he died literally only 5 days after his film came out. So, rest in peace. And this was sadly the final film to be released while he was still alive, which is very sad. Also, Bill Moseley is also good coming back as Otis as well, in this too as well. And I did also have the addition as well of Richard Brake, who is another collaborator of Rob Zombie, as Winslow. I thought he was good what he was given to, in my opinion, and I guess also Danny Trejo as Rondo, even though something really bad happens to his character, which I really hated. And that being said, now we get to the bad qualities. So, for starters, this film doesn't need to exist to begin with, because The Devil's Rejects had a phenomenal ending where the characters were defeated. And they're characters that you want to be defeated because of how despicable they are. But this film somehow brings them back, and it says they've miraculously survived a shootout, but, like, that makes no sense whatsoever. There's no way they'd survive that. No way whatsoever. So I thought that was really stupid in my opinion. And also as well, I also feel that this film barely has any horror in it either as well, because the first half of the film is literally just news reports. And that's all it is. And I also really hate how they gave the alien-free cliche to Spaulding and to Rondo, Danny Trejo's character. Like, I get that Sid Haig was only able to do one scene, and that's absolutely fine, but they could have just put a character in prison for the rest of his life. It could have been what he deserved, you know, a life in prison for all the crimes he's done. But instead they killed him via a lethal injection, and that was it. So yeah, I really feel that they disrespected the character there by killing him off like that. And they should just let him stay in prison. Like, I hate how they gave him an alien-free cliche. And I also hate how they did it to Rondo as well, because I really like Rondo and Devil's Rejects. And I hate how he got wasted in this, in the news part too. And I must also add that the visuals in the news part sucked, in my opinion, as well. They were just terrible, in my opinion. And of course, I was also not forget that it was also Sherry Moon, in my opinion, also can't act. And this film, I feel she was at her worst when it comes to playing Baby Firefly, in my opinion. And I feel this film just barely has the horror that the Devil's Rejects had. It was just a massive disgrace, in my opinion, and it absolutely sucked. So, all I can say is, screw this absolute trash all the way, and I'm glad I didn't waste my money on it, because I thankfully watched this film on Netflix, so thankfully I didn't waste my money on it. But this film was still a waste of time on nonetheless, and I really hated it. I thought it was terrible, in my opinion. Definitely, in my opinion, one of the worst horror of sequels I've ever had the misfortune of seeing in my life. And I think after Rob Zombie's Director's Cut of Halloween 2, his remake of that film, I'd say it's probably his second worst film, or maybe his worst film if you don't count Director's Cuts of his other movies, to be honest, because this film absolutely sucked, in my opinion. It ruined a great film that came before it. I just thought it was absolute trash, in my opinion. And if I was watching it for your benefit, I'd have probably turned it off when Spaulding and Rondo got killed off, because that was how insufferable it was. Just absolute trash, in my opinion. Like, it barely feels like a horror movie. It kills off beloved characters. It ruins a great ending before by making it have something happen that makes absolutely no sense where a character survive. It's just really stupid, in my opinion. If you guys want to watch these films, then please stick to the first two films for your own sake. And it's ironic that this film is called Free From Hell, because that number is a score I give this film. 3 out of 10. Because I think it absolutely sucks. Just a terrible film, in my opinion. And there is no way I'm going to watch it again unless I'm rewatching it for a trash talk. I'll definitely do in the future, because this film absolutely sucks. As far as I'm concerned, guys, Free From Hell can go to hell. So yeah, screw this one all the way. It's garbage, in my opinion. So, anyway, guys, this is me doing my ranking of Rob Zombie's Firefly Trilogy from best to worst, in my opinion. So, first place for me, of course, is The Devil's Rejects. My second favourite, of course, is House 1000 Corpses. And in last place for me, of course, Free From Hell. So, you know the drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to tell us in the comments what you guys think of Rob Zombie's Firefly Trilogy, how you guys would rank the three films if you've seen them, or how you guys would rank them. Love to see how you guys would rank them. Also, be sure to join Team Prime by pressing the subscribe and videos to come in the future. And happy Halloween.